I'm just listening for the different hi-hats. There's certain hi-hats on here that I needed to change. It's like there's a swing to it, and I have two different ones running. That swing. It sounds better now, but when I first did it, unfortunately, you're not gonna hear too much because it's not released yet. I haven't released this yet, but this is the next single. It's complete, it's finished. I just have to mix it. You know, that main thing right there is what I was listening for. It's not straight across with the same velocity, because when it's with the same velocity, it just sounds. It's just this, because of that swing. It seems like it's being played live. But yeah, that's pretty much. I go back to check on certain things, even if it's something as simple as that, as one note. You know, like, oh, nobody's really gonna notice that one note. I noticed that one note, and it shouldn't be there. Whether it's a bass line or a riff or something like that, it's like that's something that shouldn't be there. So I would get the track done and then play it over and over and over and over. I mean, it's just like anybody else would do. It's just I'm very picky about what a specific instrument should sound like, or even a specific note. Like I said, it's that one string. I have two strings on this particular song, low and highs. But the high doesn't follow the low on the end of the riff. I also like to listen to certain melodies to see if they go together with what. I always have a lead melody and a background melody, whether it's a muted guitar or an electric guitar. That would be in the background, and then in the front would be a lead piano or something like that. And then when I play those back, I want to make sure that it's not something that's clashing. Like certain melodies will be going up the scale while another one is going down, and I want to make sure they don't clash as they cross over. So I listen to a lot of things like that before any final mix. So I figured I normally don't do behind the scenes because there's so many hours and so much work that goes into this. And as you all know, I've always been a one-man operation, from writing, arrangement, to the production, to the mixing and to the mastering. So I give myself 48 to 72 hours between mixes or mixing, mastering, because you have to let your ears rest. If they're shot, everything is going to sound the same, and usually no more than like maybe pushing 3 to 4 hours on a session, because of that same reason. You know, if everything sounds the same, you won't be able to mix anything correctly. So it takes me a while. Like I said, I do it all, so it's not like I pass it down to the next person to do the mixing, or someone else to do the mastering, or anything like that. So a project that could take someone maybe I don't know, maybe a week or something like that, if they work with a crew, would take me a month or so. Because of that, I always like to give myself time to rest my ears before I move forward. Once I start with the production, a lot of people say, what is it that you start first, the production of the lyrics? I usually have the concept of the idea for the lyrics, but I won't really dive into it until the production is done. My chords are set and my melody is there. Once I structure that and then run it back, that's when I start working on the lyrics. That's usually how I've been doing it for so long. So, and it works for me, you know, but that way it gives you the mood of how the lyrics and what story you're telling is going to sound, because of the production and how it comes across to the listener. So that's how I've been doing my stuff. I also know some of you have wanted for me to let you guys know, like, a little studio tour of what it is that I use. Definitely Pro Tools. I definitely use Pro Tools. I do mix on Pro Tools itself, but I do the mastering outside of that, obviously, with a company called T-Rex. let me see. I have it. Let me see what it is. They have a massive amount of rack units that I use, from compressors to limiters to this particular one. Yeah, T-Racks. So that's basically what I do. I run it through that, and I go into the presets, and then each individual frequency for the lows, the mids, and the highs I adjust depending on the song that I'm working with, whether it's an EDM, a dance, a pop track, or whatever it is. This is on a day, not a daily, but every time I'm working, that's it. I gotta set up the mic, and then not only that, I still have to go into the system, of course, and get the levels right. It's a lot of work. Gotta set up your pop filters, of course. When we say, what is it that you do? How did you get your lyrics, your music sheet or whatever? Now, everything is on my iPad. I put everything on the iPad right here. The lyrics, what I do is, once I load them up, you'll see, I just stand them right here by the monitor. And as I'm recording, if certain words I forget, or I want to glance over at the lyrics just to, to see what word is next, to make sure that, especially when I'm freshly recording it or freshly have come off writing it, how can I say? Does that make sense? Like, as soon as I finish writing it, you have to follow that melody that you've created, so you have to record it to make sure you don't forget how it is that you want it to go. So that's when I read completely the entire song itself. Let me pull it up here. At least this particular track. And there it is. So that's pretty much it. I just run through the lyrics like that. Yeah, there's definitely a lot of different techniques that different people have. That's just one of mine when it comes to recording. I do the writing, and then to keep at least the melody fresh in my head, as soon as I write it or enter it or type it up in my iPad, I go right into Pro Tools and record it. Like I said, the melody, to want to make sure that I keep that melody of the idea. There were times that I would first do the melody without any lyrics, just to make sure that that's how I want the lyrics to go. So yeah, that's pretty much what I like to do. I like to always go back to something, and if I'm not happy with it, go back and change it. If it's a word, a line, go back and change it before any final mix is done. Sometimes I just listen back to the recording to see if there's any notes that needs to be changed. I mean, like I said, when it's a one-man operation, you have to be the engineer as well. So recording, come back, stop, rewind, let's listen in. So it's a lot. It takes a lot longer to get a production completed. Not to mention the music video, which I also storyboard and direct. So cinematography, I do it all. So there is a lot when it comes to doing a one-man production. It's a lot that goes behind it, but I love it. When it comes to creativity and just creating, I love it, and that's why I just keep going, and I won't stop till it's time to stop. And I just love producing, writing, creativity, directing, photography, you name it. Since I do it, I love it. What's going on, guys? Just want to say thanks so much for spending your time with me on this behind the scenes video of the new track, Something About You by Fingers and Company. Till the next time that we drop something else, or that I drop something else, peace.